want is right here. We gon' give them what they came for. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot 'em my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stayed down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no else, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change.
Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy, Mac. Just wanted to say happy holidays. Hopefully you get this time to celebrate with family and friends, loved ones, spend some time together, watch some basketball or football, whatever it is that you and your family do and your traditions. As we get this break with the Cleveland Cavaliers, a much needed break in my opinion. It sucks because we got left on a pretty sour note with the entire fan base seemingly down on Evan Mobley and others. But this is a much needed reprieve, in my opinion. You get time for certain players to get rest, really the entire roster to practice as a whole, because there just hasn't felt like there's been much time for that. And you get some additional opportunities just to get your mind right, to get your mental right, which is, I think, very, very important in the case of a player like Mobley, who just appears to be in his head just a little bit. But as the Cavaliers, the fifth seeded team in the Eastern Conference as of recording this, I'm okay. Yes, at 12-7, things have not gone according to plan. But at the same time, the start of this season was always going to be vastly different than what we got last year out of the gate through the first 19 to 20 games. We know that the vibes were immaculate last year. We know that there weren't a lot of true adversity being faced by that team last year. There were some injuries that were dealt with. But this year, there's been a lot of adversity in terms of pure injuries. There's been a lot of adversity in terms of lineup inconsistency. And while some of the adversity that they have faced has been self-inflicted, I do believe that the Cavaliers are still in a pretty good place, all things considered, with what they have had to deal with. So I'm okay. I'm at peace with where they're at. They piss me off. They frustrate me at times. There are specific sequences during games where I'm like, wow, we are devolving. But at the same time, I understand the mindset here. I know that force-feeding Evan Mobley all of these additional touches, I know that getting his utilization up, I know that starting the season the way they did and trying to get him comfortable with being no worse than the second option is eventually going to pay off and be a good thing. I also know that some of the struggles that he has faced right now in trying to maybe do too much and playing through him and asking him to be a self-creator, possibly too much, I understand that some of that might be, it might be too much for him. To ask him to be a self-creator, possession after possession after possession, maybe that's just not the type of player that he is. And that's okay. I don't think he's Giannis out there, but I don't think you need him to be a Giannis. You just need him to be a productive part of this offense and to really, really contribute when called upon, when needed. And in games where Darius Garland is not out there or when Donovan Mitchell doesn't have it, you need Evan Mobley to step up. And that's truly the bottom line. You just need Evan to be a big part of what they are doing from an offensive standpoint. You can't have performances where he's taking 7 shots and being outshot by a number of players that don't have nearly the amount of offensive potential as him. And that's no slight to those guys, but you guys know what I'm trying to say here. Evan has to be that big piece out there, not just in position, because we know he's a big, but he has to be able to contribute like the player that, one, he's being paid to, and two, the player that he is expected to be. Because I think that's the real kicker here. Why it feels like a disappointment at times to open the season is because he had these massive expectations, myself included. We all expected him to be this bona fide top 10 player entering this year. And that has not been the case so far, but we're just 19 games in. I'm not hitting the panic button. I still think that Evan has really grown in specific areas. I do appreciate the willingness to draw the additional contact out there. I like the ability to put the ball on the floor. It can look clunky at times, and I know that teams don't necessarily, when you're looking at him on the scouting report and you're trying to evaluate the best ways to defend him, I know that they'll still opt to try and make him dribble to his left a lot of the time. And I think that those are small details in terms of the scouting report that matter, but overall, I don't necessarily believe that Evan Mobley is not being feared by certain teams. I think that you have to be able to be patient with Evan, and it'll eventually pay off. In regard to some of the other things that they're dealing with, right? Lack of dribble penetration without Darius Garland out there, lack of pick and roll DHO work without Darius and Max Strus and even Sam Merrill out there at times. Yeah, these are things that obviously suck. These things matter, and in terms of the offensive flow out there, it's a big impact. But I think as you get some of these guys back, because I think Max, he'll eventually be back. I know the injury is being described as pretty shitty, right? It's something that he'll probably be dealing with all year, maybe even into next season, but we'll eventually get him back this year. I think the Darius injury is really tricky, but at the same time, I think most of that is going to end up being mental. Can he put weight down on that toe? Can he get to his spots? Because I think the efficiency will come, because it hasn't been efficient when he's been out there, at least from the shot perspective. But I do believe that Darius will be just fine. He just has to get out there and get past the mental block. And I know that he's already had some injury scares, but I'm not really too sour, too down on that. I think he'll be okay. So I'm tired of seeing these trade Darius Garland scenarios too. It's a little ridiculous. No, I don't want LaMelo Ball. No, I don't want XYZ player. Just keep Darius. And that's really the thing for this team. Just get healthy. And that's where I stand with them right now. Yes, it's been a disappointing start to the season in a lot of different aspects. But if they can get healthy and they can get a top 4 seed, which I think is very, very possible for them in this Eastern Conference, they'll be fine. Just get healthy, get that top 4 seed, and we are good to go. So as we sit here on this Thanksgiving holiday, enjoying time with our family and friends, I just hope that everybody's able to take a step back and understand that we're still on the right track here and that things are more than likely going to be okay. And if nothing else, I know that I am thankful for this team, right? They are often a source of escape. And I think that that's the case in most sports. Obviously, we use them as escapes, but this Cavaliers team in particular has had some very, very high highs. And yeah, they've had some low lows too, but they're an escape. They allow us to focus on just having fun. And at the end of the day, it's basketball. It's supposed to be fun. But I'm very, very thankful for that. And I hope you guys are too. Go Cavs.